Hey book friends, I just finished reading the Atlas 6 and I'm going to review it for y'all. This is going to be spoiler free, so don't worry if you haven't read it, but let's talk about it. Atlas 6 by Olivie Blake. I don't have the book jacket on at the moment because I don't read with dust jackets. But anyway, I went into this book really wanting to love it. I love the cover, I love the title, and it has pictures, it's so pretty. And Atlas 6, 6 characters, 6 crows. Like, that's what I compare it to. It's nothing like 6 crows, except the fact that it follows 6 POVs and 6 characters. I just can't help but give it 3 stars. And I almost gave it 2, but that's because of the end. I didn't love it, but I definitely didn't hate it. I enjoyed it. The ending really made it worth it to me almost, but it took about almost 200 pages for me to actually start caring about the story and for this book not to be a chore for me to read, which is, I don't think is good in a book. We follow 6 characters, and the first part of the book is really just them kind of standing around talking to each other. It's very character focused about the relationships between each other, which normally I'm all about. I love character focused and about relationships. That's the best part in books. But it's boring because you're not invested in any of the characters, and a lot of the characters are very unlikable at first. I got lucky because I was attached to the character Olivie. I thought she was intriguing and I liked the idea of her. So if I hadn't found that attachment in Olivie though, I would have been so bored out of my mind. I almost was. And a lot of these characters are very unlikable at first, but they do come around towards the end. Carissa especially, I really enjoyed her towards the end. Didn't like her all at the beginning, but I still don't really care for Tristan at the end. The first chapter I liked him that he was in, but after that I'm like, yeah, I don't really care about you, I'm sorry. Maybe it's because I don't like his name. I also think there was just some underwhelming character development and some characters fell flat, specifically Raina. Raina is a character, her first chapter she's introduced, she's intriguing, I like her, I want to learn more about her. But honestly, I think you could remove her from this book and the plot would be virtually the same. She doesn't really do much, I think, and what you end up learning about her is just from Callum, however you say his name, just reiterating what he knows. And that's a problem of just telling us what their backstories are instead of like really seeing that from the actual character itself. Like, we don't learn a lot about Raina except from when Callum tells Tristan about it, which is upsetting because I like the idea of her character, I like the premise. Nico is a character I enjoyed too, and I like his dynamic with Libby. That was something that I was invested in early on. But the thing about Nico is his main thing is with his roommate Gideon, and although that's intriguing, I just don't understand the relevance of Gideon to the story. Maybe he becomes more relevant later on, but I just didn't understand the point of that. I really enjoyed the ending and the characters at the end. I got finally invested in some of them, not all of them, which made this book kind of worth it in the end. But the fact of the matter is I can only give it 3 stars because it took so long to get there. I was so bored. I still want to read the sequel despite not liking this one that much just because of the ending. And now that the characters are established and I actually like a lot of them and I'm invested, I think that will help improve the sequel. I just think this book could have been shorter. Like 100 pages is so boring. I think that's probably also part of it, is the pacing is so slow. And maybe it could have benefited from that, or just make something more intriguing because you're not invested in the characters at first. And in order to actually enjoy this slow build of the relationships at the beginning, you have to be at least somewhat invested in them, and you're hardly invested in them, so you don't really care until towards the end. I got to the end and I enjoyed it. I just don't know. I don't know why it's so hyped up. I enjoyed it, I will say that, and I like the characters. I definitely will be talking about them in the future, and I do think I will read the sequel, but it can only be 3 stars. I just hope that the sequel's better.